the local epidemic at our local university, at our local medical school, of use of basically methamphetamine, but Ritalin, Concerta. I was shocked that I found out when I'm already a specialist that people use this thing to study.
Methylphenidate.
Methylphenidate. I was just joking to say that it's methamphetamine, but it's
a stimulant, essentially, to treat ADHD.
I mean, the amount.
So you've never used it?
No.
To study.
I was preparing for my final specialist exams, and that's when I was introduced to say, like, hey, why don't you do this? I was like, what? No ways. And then the guy was like, but our whole class used this from med school. I was like, what?
Yeah.
Exactly.
I got through med school on water and dragon.
And coffee.
Listen, thank goodness for that.
So this
You, Nas, you never ever used Ritalin?
I never used it.
You've never?
I used it once. I used it once in 4th year. I'll tell you, I was writing, I think, our neurology final exams in 4th year. And someone it is, who you know very well, he offered me and he said, look, if you want to study and you need to ace this exam, use this. That feeling that I got when I took it was so scary to me that I was like, if I keep taking this, I will become addicted to it.
Yeah.
The feeling of such intense focus, I'd never experienced that level of intense focus in my life. No matter how interesting the subject matter was, I would never be able to focus that hard. And I was there locked in. I was focused 3-4 hours, toilet break, even on the toilet, I'm like, focus, focus, come back, focus. I think I studied for maybe 10 hours straight. With minimal breaks, no food, nothing. And I was like, if I keep going like this, it's going to be problematic. I will become addicted to this.
And all those drugs have a high risk of having associated anxiety. So you end up having anxiety, low level of feeling anxious and nervous while you're
constant
on those drugs.
Exactly.
So, I mean, it's what we're coming to is that professionals, and not just doctors, police officers, like we said, firefighters in places where there's a lot of fires. I don't know if there's lots of fires.
Not constantly, I think. Probably not as bad as where you're from.
In the Western Cape, eh? Yeah. But people are using substances, and there's something below or beneath that they are putting a plaster over by using those substances. And that's what we need to get to, I mean, there's many stories that we can talk about.
But I mean, what's your experience with substance abuse, mental health, trauma, that type of thing? What do you think the causes of the substance abuse are? Do you think that a lot of people have underlying mental health issues and then they use the substance to treat it? Or do you feel like they get the mental health issue and then later are just using to try and cope? Or like, what's your experience?
It's a dual issue.
So can you use substances in your recovery as well? I think just to add on to what he's asking.
I think it's quite a broad spectrum because we know that people who suffer from anxiety or depression, people self-medicate because they don't want to go to a doctor. They're ashamed to tell their parents. So I'm a bit socially anxious, but all my friends are having a beer, so okay, I'll have one. Oh, I suddenly feel much more relaxed. So it's a pleasurable relief. But then it becomes that crutch where if I don't have it, I can't function. And obviously your higher level drugs and I mean, a friend of mine was a functional alcoholic. Whiskey in the morning, glass of whiskey at night, and then throughout the day. And he was highly functional. But, it becomes that point where if you are that, I don't want to say addicted necessarily, or dependent on substances, then we need to keep that in mind because withdrawing it completely can be very, very dangerous.
Yeah.
Heroin, like drugs like that, it's, the detox can be very tricky depending how long you've been on it.
Yeah.
Same with substances like drinking, and the same with smoking.
Smoking, yeah.
I think there's an amazing, thing at the moment where the vape shops actually have nicotine levels that you can start lowering, and you keep your vape. So it's the habit, but you cut down on the nicotine, which is incredible.